camera. At the most, there'll be nobody sitting in front of it. That's fine. Keep your cameras on. Okay. So now we're done with verse 12. Means the Jagat Mithya journey has begun with this honoring of both consciousness at rest and honoring consciousness in motion. Both. Now that one has stepped ahead, he starts realizing a few important pointers. That is what has been mentioned ahead in the verses. So first I'll read the verse in Sanskrit and then I'll translate it into English. Verse 13. Anyad eva hu sambhavat, anyad ahur asambhavat. Iti sushruma dhiranam yenastat vichachakshire. By realizing the manifest, one end is attained. By realizing the unmanifest, another end is attained. Thus we have heard from the wise ones who taught us. Yeah, so what end is attained means what is the benefit of realizing the unmanifest, what is the benefit of realizing the manifest. Let's look at that. Let's first dive into realizing the unmanifest. Unmanifest is consciousness at rest. Yeah. When is this unmanifest recognized? Only when that collapse of the I into nothingness, into emptiness, into shunyata is recognized. That's when you come to this recognition, oh, I must be this white background on which that last drop of I disappeared. It must have come out from there. This realization is not happening in words. Ekta is explaining it in words right now. Yeah, there's just an aha moment when the collapse of the I is noticed in deep sleep. It is also noticed in samadhi for the people who have progressed to the higher samadhi, especially those who are doing the jhanas in the Buddha retreats. So you start recognizing, oh, the I collapses. Who recognized this I collapse? Oh, I must be that background. Again, I'm only expressing it in words. It's not a realization in words. There are no words there. Yeah, so the unmanifest, undifferentiated consciousness is realized as the first cause. Yeah. This is very important on the path, on the Jagat Mithya path, that he always carries, the one who has realized Brahman Satyam, he always carries this realization with him. Oh, the undifferentiated consciousness is the first cause. I am that first cause. That is the meaning of the title of Nisargadatta Maharaj's book, I am that. That means what? The first cause. The unmanifest, undifferentiated consciousness. That which itself is not caused by anything else. That is why it is called the first cause. But from which that I sense arose and I recognize the arising of the I sense. Yeah. Recognizing the arising of the I sense or recognizing the collapse of the I sense imparts the realization I am that unmanifest, undifferentiated consciousness. I am the first cause. Yeah, first cause simply means that which itself is not caused by anything else, but which gives rise to the first I, the first thought, the first feeling, the first sensation, the first perception. Yeah, it's the first cause. This is the first realization, which the sage moving from Brahman Satyam into Jagat Mithya carries with himself. What is the second realization he carries with himself? That the unmanifest, undifferentiated consciousness, it can never be directly seen. If somebody says they saw blue light, yellow light, and that was pure consciousness, no. Completely wrong. It cannot be directly seen, it cannot be directly perceived. It is only known on account of the collapse of the I or the arising of the I. Yes. Who noticed the collapse? Oh, that is what I am. It is not directly seen. It is not directly perceived. On account of the collapse of the I or on account of the arising of the I, there is an indirect knowing of who I am truly. Yeah? But you cannot point towards it. You cannot describe it. You cannot know it. Yeah? That is why it is called the unmanifest, undifferentiated consciousness. I hope I clarified these two realizations. If these two realizations are missing, it means that the Brahman Satyam journey has not culminated into this highest realizations. Yeah, something went wrong on the Brahman Satyam journey. Yeah. He starts the Jagat Mithya with these two realizations. Very important, very important. Yeah, he's always clear. Who knows the I collapse? Who knows the I arise? Oh, that is who I am. I cannot perceive it directly. I cannot see it. Yeah, just like the eyes can see the world, but the eyes cannot see themselves, like that. That undifferentiated background saw the I collapse. Yeah, the I sense collapse. That undifferentiated background saw the I sense arise. Yes, but it cannot directly perceive or see itself. Yeah, because it is simply made of nothingness, shunyata. It's an emptiness, an alive emptiness, a conscious emptiness. Yeah. So this is what is realized from the unmanifest. That's the first part of the sutra, that one means is attained by the unmanifest. Now the next part of the sutra, another means is attained. What is the other means that is attained by the manifest? What is the manifest? Here in this case, witness consciousness is manifest. Do you recognize that? Yeah. The sense of I that comes out of the pool of nothingness, that is the manifest. So we are talking about that here. What is the means that is attained from the realization of the manifest? Number one, I am not the I sense. That is the first realization. I am not I. If I were I, then who is knowing that the I collapsed? Who is knowing that the I arose? Who is knowing? That has to be beyond that which is known. I don't have my phone here today, I have a glass. I know the glass. I know the glass because I am separate from the glass. Is that clear? Yeah. When I recognize the I collapse, it means I am separate from the I. This realization happens. Oh, I am not I. Yeah. I am not the I sense. I am not the I thought. I am not the I am this and I am that. I am not the identifications at all. First realization on the Jagat Mithya journey. Next realization. The I sense is born with every arising as a partner. because the I sense does not like to stand like this alone. Yeah, it needs company. Yeah, we have a very nice saying in Hindi, सत्य अकेला ही खड़ा रह सकता है, झूठ को भीड़ की जरूरत होती है. The lie or the illusion needs a crowd. The truth can stand alone. Yeah? So what it really means is that witness consciousness can stand alone by itself. It can stand alone by itself. But consciousness in motion needs company. Yeah? An illusion needs the company of more illusion. So that I sense that came up, that is illusory, and it projected all these other consciousnesses in motion, whether it is the waking consciousness, the dream consciousness, or the deep sleep consciousness. Yeah. It needs all these drops with it to feel I exist. So, what is the main point here? The I sense can never stand alone for a long time. It needs another arising, so it projects. It projects either a perception or a sensation or a thought or a feeling. Clear? It needs a crowd. This is the manifestation. First manifestation is the I that comes out of nothingness. The next manifestation is the dream. Whatever dream, content is not important, whether a nightmare or a good, pleasant, happy dream. And the next manifestation is the waking. The I cannot stand alone for a long time. It partners with another arising. And the next realization with which you can walk the Jagat Mithya path is the I is merely a sense of existing. When it stands dispassionately from its partner arising, it is called the witness consciousness. When it indulges in the arising, it becomes the I thought and says, I am this or I am that, I like this, I don't like this, I want this, I don't want this, this is right, this is wrong, blah blah. The opposites are born only when this witness consciousness forgets itself and jumps in and becomes the I thought. When it learns to stand at a distance dispassionately from the partner arising, then it is called the pure Sakshi. Yeah, we did this word yesterday when I mentioned Ashtavakra Gita. Yeah, then it is the pure Sakshi. On the Jagat Mithya journey, you stand as the pure Sakshi. Pure Sakshi. Yeah. A better way that I would describe it is a Shunya Sakshi. Shunya means you have recognized you are zero. You are the pool, you are not the drop. The drop is only an illusion that appears to be. Reality is H2O, the water. Yeah, when this realization is there that I'm not the drop and I am only the pool, that is the H2O, then it is guaranteed there will be no more misery for you. Guaranteed. This is what the Buddha said. There is a path to end the misery. This is the path. On Buddha's path, it is called cessation or nirodha, where the I sense collapses into pure consciousness. Yeah. The word that Buddha gave is nirodha. It is the 9th jhana. If you're interested in learning it through samadhi, you can join the Buddha retreat. We have a long 17-day retreat in the US, in Texas, next month. Only the seniors qualify for that retreat because they've learned the preliminary steps of the Buddha Samadhi. But you can join another retreat that happens later. That collapse of the I on Buddha's path is jhana 9, Nirodha. That is the path leading to the cessation of all misery. Why? Because misery is only in believing I am the drop. When I believe I am localized, I am limited, I am finite, there is an inherent unhappiness because I am betraying my reality, my true self. What is my reality? That I am infinite. I am borderless. I am emptiness, alive, conscious emptiness. If I betray that, I am obviously going to be unhappy. Obviously going to be unhappy. Yeah. So that is what has been mentioned very clearly in 13. That realization of both is important. The manifest as well as the unmanifest. You cannot say, I will realize only one and the other I can drop. No. It's like saying, I will only understand the center of the circle and I will drop the periphery. You cannot. The entire circle drops away from you. It's one totality. It's a singularity. So you cannot pick and choose. You have to realize both the manifest as well as the unmanifest. The unmanifest is pure consciousness or primordial awareness. The manifest is the witness consciousness. And then witness consciousness produces the waking consciousness, the deep sleep consciousness, the dream consciousness. Yeah? All these are manifest. Pure consciousness is unmanifest. Understanding both is understanding the totality, seeing the totality. I don't speak about intellectual understanding. I hope that is very clear for everyone. You have to see it. There's no point if you memorize these verses and say it in perfect Sanskrit. So what? There's no point if you know all the verses and their meanings memorized and by heart. So what? You must see it. Yeah, you must see it. You must recognize in your own direct seeing, I am that. I am that. Yes, that is precious. So realizing the manifest as well as unmanifest both together is a requirement, because both teach you something. One means is attained by the manifest. The other means is attained by the unmanifest. That completes verse 13.